Hello, this is Lena making bespoke craft designs. I'm making some of these journal pages today. I'm actually using some lovely images out of the Edwardian Lady, the story of Edith Holden, and I didn't want to fold them in half and sew down the middle when I put the signature in. So what I decided to do was hinge another paper onto there, so that when you sew in your signature, this will go each side of your signature. And what I've done with this side, it's a plain paper here. It's going to be sewn across the bottom when I sew them, and it will have the pocket here. So it's just I'm going to do some. So it's a folded piece of paper with a pocket there. I've covered this side because there was some text on there, and then I've just put like a little love poem on here that I really like, and that flips out. So that's as far as I've got with it. I haven't embellished it, I haven't stamped it or anything. I just wanted to show you where I was with that. This is a similar one. Again, another page that I didn't want to fold in half. This one I have done the stamping on. I haven't sewn it yet. It's still got the pocket, and it just needs sewing on that side. So it's got a little tuck spot, and then it's obviously been covered on this side. It's made it a bit sturdier to put all your bits that you collect in there like I do. And then this has got a little poem, and it's a love poem, so it's got a lovely image on there, and that just flips out. So I really like that. I was going to show you the book I've used it on. I have done in a previous video, but I haven't got it just in front of me. I don't know where I've put it. So they're the two that I've sort of started because I'm making a few. So what I've got, just got some papers ready. Now the little bits that I'm going to use as the flip through. These are the images. These are the big pages that are folded in half to make the pockets. So I'm just going to get those to one side. Look at that beautiful image. I love that one. Absolutely beautiful. And it says, "Is love a fancy?" It's beautiful. Going to keep it whole like that and use one of these papers. I think I'll go with that one that's plain on one side. That's what I've done. I've just taken some out of the book. Now that one's paper on writing on both sides, so one would be in the middle, which wouldn't matter, and then I would just cover this one. But I'm going to go with this one today. So how I started this, I decided which side I was going to fold. I'm going to fold the edge that isn't quite so neat, and we've got a lovely line there, so that makes it easy. I can actually just fold up to that line, and that's obviously where we're going to be sewing in the signature. And I'm not sure which way. Just bent it both ways so I can see which way I want it. I like to work from this way, so I'm going to do it this way. And then with this piece of paper, I mean, you can use what size of paper you want. These were quite big, and they're still not the same length as that, but I think that gives it a bit more interest. So what I've done with this, I've just folded it in half, and I'm going to put that each side. I've had to remind myself today because I've had these done. I've had about 4 different pages out the journal ready to do something with before I can sew my pages in. And so I've got so many things ready to do. And I was looking through my stack of things and thought, I can't remember how I did that. I'll have to. So that's why I've done 2 there, just to remind myself. Yeah, so that's going to sort of encase itself onto this hinge. So because I am going to sew it, I've just got this piece of paper right up to that edge, as near to the fold as I can without it going over, because I don't want it to, I did just fold it up there, I don't want it to fold it up as it'll become bulky. And just to hold it in place till I sew it. If you don't have to sew them, you just have to use a stronger glue to make sure. And I'm only going to the edge of this paper because it's a little bit longer and I don't want to glue all the other. So I'm just going to do that like that and fold it in. Not stick it down yet because I want the other piece putting in. That's it. And then fold this one in too. That's it. And then that makes your other page. So I've just folded this sheet in half and made my hinge. So that's both sides. So that's one side. The signature will be sewn down there and that's the other. I shall be sewing across the bottom of here. And this here will become the pocket. But I'm going to cover this because I want it to be a little bit stronger. I'm not sure what I'm covering it with yet. I'm just having a look if I'm using the same papers as I used on the other ones. I've pulled a few out. I think so. I've got that lovely background paper there and this one with the lines on. I think I'm going to go with that one on this occasion. It's a real dull day here today and it's so there might be a few shadows in this room because it's such a small room. It's such a small window, so I haven't got a lot of natural light, which is a shame because when I was in my conservatory I didn't even need special light. I had so much light, it was beautiful. But I'm not in there now because the utility room that I use for wet projects and the conservatory are next to each other. Right, so I'm going to put this on this edge just to strengthen this a bit and make it look a bit prettier. Now I don't want all this covering because I want to be able to use it to write on, and I'm going to stencil on it or stamp on it or something. But I'm just looking at this. I'm just going to fold this over. You could cover both sides if you wanted. You could even make a second pocket. You've got one there and you've got another one there. This would be lighter because it's just thinner copy of paper. And that would look really lovely. I'm just wondering, should I do that on this one? No, I'll have a look and see if I've got any card, a bit thicker card, and I could do that. On this one I'm going to just stick it down. So I'm going to just stick it down right to the fold on there. And I think it did just come over. Yes, it did. It come right over. But again, I'm going to be on the sewing machine. So I'm just checking I'm filming because I started to do this and realised I wasn't filming. So, and I'm not going right to the end again. I'm just doing the middle bit. Giving this a good stick down, and then when it's really dry I'll sew it. That's it. I just want to make sure it's right onto that crease like that. And then bone folder. It's funny how you just decide, oh, I could actually make another pocket out of this. I could just do this, because you go in and you get in the flow and then all these other ideas come to you. I never know exactly what I'm going to do when I start off. Once I've sewn, I can trim this edge off if I don't like it quite so rough. And then this one, what I'm going to do with this one, let me have a look. I'm going to make this, just going to cut a little bit of this off. I'm trying to make sure I am well in. I'm just going to leave that folded down a bit because I think it'll make it a bit stronger, and then that's just going to be a little pocket on there. I normally take this off and just have a little bit, but I'm just going to use the full bit, I think, on here, just because it's thin paper and it'll just thicken it a bit. So I'm just putting a good bit of glue on. As I say, I shall be sewing around the edges, and I'm just going to fold that in, and let's give that a double thickness. like that, and I'm going to just a little bit of glue just to hold it down at the minute, because as I say, it will be sewn. So some people don't like to see the sewn stitching on the other side, but because I am sewing all the way along there, it will catch on that one anyway. This one here, I can't sew it down, as it would sew up my pocket. So what I shall do is either put some faux stitching over the top, or just sew one side down and glue this and put some lace on it. But what I could have done is sewn this first, so it looked like it was sewn down to the paper. So there's all sorts of different ways of doing it. I'm just going to get some of these bubbles out. Because you're sticking it to another sheet, you've just got to make sure that you get it flat, because if you don't, you'll have all sorts of creases in there. But it is quite wet at the minute, so I'm just letting some of the air bubbles out. That's it. So that's it so far. That side I'm not doing much on, it's this side I'm doing the work on. You've got your pocket there, and then on this side we want to put the other piece on. So where's my lovely image? So I like this image on here, and then I wanted the verse on the back, and I'm going to put that in the middle of there. And I'm going to do it to the edge of this page, so it'll flip out again from there. So I'm just going to turn this over just for that. No, I was just going to say, have I got that straight? But no, the answer is no, Lena, you haven't. Why would you? You never do. I never do first. I still haven't. I've still split that and haven't. Doesn't matter, because it's going to have another piece over it, but I just wanted it to be fairly level just for me starting. And then I'm going to get an hinge and just make my little hinge. I've got a bigger piece than I need here, but then I can just neaten both sides, because that's got a bit of an edge on it there, so I just want that off. And then what I do on here is just slip that in there to make my hinge, and then cut that right to the end. Without cutting the paper, Lena. That's it. Well, it'll definitely have to have a bit of lace on the bottom of there, because I've caught it. So, right, get that off. So there's several ways of doing this. You can, I want that bit off. I don't want it as long as that. Let's just make this as straight as I can. I don't do much measuring. I'm not very good at measuring. I'm going to put my paper in the inside of there like that, and glue it to the bottom one like that. No, I'm not. To the top one like that, and then glue the page onto here like that, and then tuck that over. So it's going to go in there like that, because I've done this edge over. It wouldn't be enough on its own, so you know, if I was just to put that on there on that, I could do that, but that's not very strong. It's ripped already. It's quite weak. So what I'm just going to do here is just catch that down where I want it in the middle of this page, like that. You can see it's very, very weak, that. It wouldn't hold it, it would break off, so it needs something over it. So I'm going to put this over the top of it. I've cut it down to the same size, and then that will just come out like that. So let's get this bit down. Now again, I won't be able to sew Well, I will be able to sew down here, but I'll have to go right to the very edge because I've got this as a pocket. So I'm just making sure there is enough glue on it, and I want the crease line right on the edge, like that. And then when I fold it, make sure I can push it right down. That's it. And then that will fold out like that, and that's the hinge. That bit will be sewn. I shall sew down there, but won't be able to sew. Well, I will be able to sew down here, but obviously this needs to be stuck. It's not sticking very well. Let me just try and stick it again. I don't want to put any Fabri-Tac at the moment. Once I've done my sewing, I can go back and put Fabri-Tac on, but I don't want Fabri-Tac on while it's going through my sewing machine. Doesn't seem, I don't know whether I just put too much on, but it doesn't seem to like it if it catches any Fabri-Tac, and it likes your glue to be very dry. So yeah, so that's what I've done so far on this one. So that is the page. That's obviously got the pocket, and this will be sewn. This will go in like that, and this is the pocket. So I need to do something on here. As I say, we are going to do some bits to tidy this up and to make it look nice and neat before we put it through the sewing machine. I do like a bit of this doily that I'm just going to put down this crease, because this crease needs just a bit of something. And I've started to use the inside bits of the doily for things like this. I think they'll make them look so pretty, and just give another element, just another layer and another bit of interest. So I'm just going to glue that down there. And as I say, then I will sew over that. So that's quite nice on there when it's all pushed down. That, as I say, will be sewn, but I want to put some bits of lace down before I sew it. So because this has got like a blue in the background, I'm going to have a bit of blue down there that I really like. Now I don't know whether this glue will hold it even for me to get it to the sewing machine, but we'll try. We'll see. Right. Just make sure I get the right side. Both sides are pretty. I assume there is a right and a wrong, but both sides are pretty, so I'm going to put that down there and just cut that off without using my fabric scissors. That goes on there like that. This is still wet, so it's sticking a little bit. And then we need to do something on this side. I'm just going to open it a little bit so nothing sticks. We need something down this side, and again I think it's going to be a little bit of lace that I'm going to put all the way along there when I sew it. Does it want anything else first? I think it possibly does. Does it want a bit of the lace? See, this lace is very curly, so it's difficult to do this. I could do it like that. Yeah, probably do that. Let's get a bit of this off so I can see what I'm doing. Get this piece out. Oops. And then glue down a little bit of this, because obviously I can't sew where this is going to be, so I'm just going to estimate where I want my glue. If you get glue and you don't put anything over it, just get a wet wipe or a wet cloth and just rub the glue off. that like that. My fibromyalgia is playing me up today, so I'm not very well today. I'm having a very, very rough day, and I have to really make the effort to do something. But trying to concentrate when you're having a bad day, it's not easy. But I like to keep going. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a martyr to it. I'm not. I give in quite a lot because it makes you feel so poorly and so lethargic and no energy. So if there's anybody else out there with it, I fully sympathise with you, because it's dreadful. But since I've been crafting, it's just given me such a lovely achievement, because I had to leave work through ill health because I was making so many mistakes and being, you know, all the time sort of penalised for making mistakes when they knew I had a genuine illness, and it just got too much to cope with. So I went off sick, and they made me redundant while I was off sick, and then I decided not to go back to work because I was too ill. And I spend a lot of time in bed when I'm not crafting, and the rest of the time I'm doing my best to look after my husband, who's a lot poorlier than I am, and so we do our best between us, and family help where they can. But I'm not whinging on about that. I'm just saying I'm a little bit off colour today. Oh, have I got the wrong side of... Oh, of course I have. Of course I have. I've got the wrong side of the lace. Right. Let's get that. It keeps coming off in my hands. But even when I am not, you know, when I'm a bit under the weather, Oscar doesn't understand, and he still needs to go for his exercise. So unless I'm really absolutely desperate, and in which case my daughter comes and takes him, I try to make the effort and just have a little bit of exercise with him, and it does do me good. But it doesn't feel like that at the moment. I just want to curl up and go to bed. Again, go back to bed, should I say. There we go. But if crafting can't bring me round, then nothing can, because it just helps me sat here relaxing and takes my mind off it. Yeah, so I quite like that. I'm just looking whether that's lovely. So that's got the bit of doiling in there, and that'll fold that way, and that opens that way. That piece of doily looks beautiful on there. I'm just going to wipe over where it's still a bit sticky. Just take some of that stickiness off so it doesn't all stick to things it shouldn't stick to. But that looks really, really pretty. Yeah, so we've covered all the seams up. I'm going to do a little bit of, not going to do much on this one. Sometimes I stencil all over. I'm just going to find, if I can, I was going to use more coloured inks. I got some of my distress inks out for the different colours. I've used them in the papers, but I haven't used the inks to ink the pages. I need to get a bit braver and to do that a bit more. I do it, but only usually for things I keep for myself. Well, I am keeping this for myself, but I'm showing it on YouTube. Right, let me just check. I need a bit of paper. Oh yeah, I really do like that. It's a nice little bunch of lavender, I think, and it's absolutely lovely. So I'm just going to put that on the bottom of this plain paper, and then the rest can be journaled on. So I'm going to just put that at an angle on there, press it down and let the paper absorb some of the ink. So this has got the acetate backing on it because it wouldn't come off. So I just go over it with a lid just to press it down. There you go. Oh, that's a nice image. That's pretty on there. And I think that's about as much as I'm going to do on there. I might put something else on here and here. Oh, I quite like that. It's quite pretty if I inked it up a bit. Just looking at what I've got in here. Whoops. Everything's falling on the floor. No, I don't want that one. I like that. That's really pretty, but it's a bit big. It's a pretty one. I like the flowers at the top though. Don't want another image. Do I like that little clock? Quite like the clock. What else have I got? Got the word special there, that's quite nice. Got one of those, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. I usually use the cup and saucer, but I like the jug there. I think I might go with that. Yeah, I like that. I'm trying to be as good when I'm on the camera as when I'm off, when I just make snap decisions and like what I've done. But then when I'm on the camera, I'm not so good at it. And I don't know why. I'm just going to cut around this. Just do a little bit of inking. I like the thinner copier paper because sometimes it just blends into the paper a bit better than having the thicker card. So on this, whereas this is a bit thicker, I'm just going to take a bit more of this black edge off. I've just noticed is still on there. I'm not so keen on the black edges. It does use a lot of ink as well when you're printing out the black. So I've left quite a lot of that on there. I don't mind a little bit because it looks like it's just meant to be with the flower. Right, let's have a look. Let's just still see there's a bit of black, but that doesn't cause it any problems. It was just that there was bits of black in the middle of there that I didn't want. Oh, I've just realised Oscar's he's just woke up and he's made me jump. He's laid against my box of laces. Well, it's a basket and it's, I should think it's quite sort of spongy and comfy for them. He gets in it if I don't watch him. I don't want him to go in it, but he does try if I'm not just watching what he's doing. Right, let's get this. I got a bit excited because he saw me putting my exercise trousers on, and I have to say that word because if I say the other word he'd be up. Right, I think I'm going to put that there, and I do quite like the flower. Yeah, I like the flower there, and I think I'm just going to put the special up there, and I wanted some bling. Oh, getting into this bling. Will do if I can find some. Oh, there's one, just one odd one there. I've got some that are, you know, on a strip, but then these are just individual ones, and I thought that would be better in there. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. So where's my, oh, I found my board. I found my board for doing the gluing, which was good. When I cleaned out one of my drawers, I pushed it in there when we were cleaning up. I should imagine it was probably my daughter's thought, oh, I'll put it in there out the way, and I hadn't realised where she'd put it. Get that handle down. And as I say, I should probably go across that with the sewing, but I'm not bothered. I'm just going to now put a tiny bit of Fabri-Tac so that this, because these don't stick down too well, these. Let's just have a look. So let's just put that, if I can get some out. That's it. And then my hands are filthy now. Put that down middle of there, just for a little bit of bling. And I'm going to just put this at the bottom. Bring in my mat again. Actually, I should have probably done that before I put the bling on. Doesn't matter though, because I can go right round the edges like that. And then I'll just stick a little bit there so it gets the middle as well. There we go. That's that. All down. And then we'll have this bit of special. I wanted a bit of something just behind this one. I think we'll have a little bit of paper. Just put that on, just making sure there's nothing I don't want to read under it. I'm going to cut round it big, and then I can tear it. I just think this gives an extra bit of interest when you just tear around them and have like a bit of a border. Just put that on there like that. Just making sure it's got enough glue on it. And just put that down there. My finger's getting very sticky. That's it. Just make sure everything's down. Something's, yes, I quite like that. And then what you would do here, you would have, I mean, this is that's a tag, but you'd have something in there, possibly a journaling card in there. And then you'd have your tag in the top of there like that. Just mind when you're sticking this down, you don't stick it down too far in that you won't get your tags in and out. But that one goes in nicely. I'm not leaving it in because it's very, very wet at the moment. The other thing I'm just going to do, I'm going to sort of squash it up a bit, like that, just so I can get my cutter in there. And I will be putting a mark in there like that. I'm not going to do it now because this is very wet and it'll go soggy, it won't come out clean. So that's what I shall do, just to do that when I finish off. So I'm going to sew this now, and then I can show you the results when it's all sewn, what it looks like. So that's that one. I was just going to finish off one of these others that I've done. So, I mean, this one has got the, because this is all dried, but it hasn't been sewn yet. So your tag would go in there, and then when this is sewn down, because I did this one separately because it was only a small piece that I had, I didn't fold it over from this side, but I do like the folding it over. So then you would put something smaller than this in there. Let's put that back. So I've done a bit of stamping on this one, so I'm not going to do any more on there because it's got some background stamping. That is a flip, but it's not going to be very strong, that, so I'm going to stick something over the top of that, I think. What have I got? Let me have a look. Have I got anything? That's pretty, that would just go over that. Don't want that, that's a big large tag, that one. Let me have a look. What have I got? Don't want that paper there. Oh, I do quite like that, the edge of that Edith Holden. Just because I can't sew on here, so I need something just to make this stronger. I obviously didn't think when I was putting it down, so I'm just going to. I've sewn all these bits that I wanted to do. I've cut off as many of the bits of thread that I've seen, and I had a problem with my sewing machine. It's desperate for servicing, and I'm not sure that I can get anybody to service it, so I've decided to buy some oils and some bits, and I'm going to do it myself, because I don't know whether anybody will take it in at the minute or come out. I don't suppose it's, you know, that essential at the minute while things are still, I mean, things are coming out of lockdown, but not everybody's got back to work, you know, not everybody's sort of taking things in, especially if it's people doing things in their own home. Anyway, so I'm going to get some bits and do it myself, but in the meantime I'm struggling to sew, especially on paper, because it's catching it. So I've made a real mess under there. It hasn't shown through on this side, but it's shown through on here. It got all caught up, so I've cut it off best I can, and then I've just put a little crocheted flower on there. It is a little bit dimensional, but it doesn't stop the page closing. It isn't too bulky or anything. My video did stop last night, I think. Yes, I think I was just cutting that piece down there ready to put on, and it stopped. So all I did from last night was put this piece on here and the little embellishment on the bottom, and I'd carried on because I didn't realise it had stopped. Whoops. And I'd put some bits of lace, I hadn't done that, I put some bits of lace on, ready to sew. So I'll just go through what I've done, and then I'm going to put these in the journal, because I'm trying to get the pages back in the journals so I can sew them in. So this is the flip that flips out, and I've just sewn down there to secure it. I did this little bit of lace. It was a double lace, so I've put it each side of the crease, and then that now is secure. It was glued down here because, as I said, I didn't want it coming through onto this side of the pocket, because obviously it would stop the pocket moving. I'm not going to fill the pockets at the moment because I've still got the tags to embellish. So that's that one. This one, as I say, this page is pretty much as it is, and that's how I wanted it to be. This has got the tuck here, and it's now secured down there, and then this flips out, and then I've got the pocket there. When they're in the journal, I can then embellish them a bit more if I want to do, but I thought, well, at the moment I don't want to do too much more embellishing until I see where they're going and what colours they're going to be with. This one, obviously, I've got one of the signatures that's a bit more bluey, and the others are more pinky. They've got some blue bits going on, so this is for me blue one. I just think that looks very ladylike and delicate and pretty. I really like that. I'm just gluing this down because last night I was, again, you didn't see me do this, but I was going to take it off so I could sew down each side, but that Yoo-hoo had stuck a lot stronger, so you can be confident that Yoo-hoo does stick really strongly, even if you only put the because I'd only put the tiniest bit on, and it stuck really strong. So I'm just going back in with a bit of Fabri-Tac just to make sure that is really. I have a little pot, and I have little bits of embellishments in my pot, so I'd got these out just in case. There's just some little bits on my table that I don't know, like that I don't know where to put. I always have a little pot just to put them in. I end up with more bits in that pot and then have to empty it. Yeah, so that one has got the pocket there. You turn it over and it's got the flip. And the only thing I didn't do last night was because it was wet. So how I do this is I just squash it down slightly so that I can get my cutter in. Am I in screen? I don't know whether I'm in. Let me just check that I'm in screen so you can see what I'm doing. So yeah, so I just squash this so I can get my cutter in there. Like that. And then you can see it coming through then. Just try and find the middle. And if I'd have done that last night, it would have been really soggy from the glue. And it would have sort of made a mark, and then I'd have had to cut it out by hand. Trust me, I've done it a number of times. So yeah, so they're the three signatures. I'm going to fold them that way because obviously they fold both ways, but I'm going to fold them and I'm going to put the picture or the word in like that one. I liked that because it said 1880 to 1890. I don't know why, but I just did. And then the picture's on the flip side of that one. And then this is my cover that I haven't done anything with yet. Well, I've done a bit with it, but nothing with you guys. I've just done a bit off camera. So these are my three signatures, and as you can see, the middle one's got a little bit more blue in it. So I have one that is, that's more blue, I think. Is that the blue one? No, that's the blue one. There is a bit of blue on this one as well. I have got blue in the others as well, but not, you know, that one's just got a bit more blue in it. So I'm just looking where I want to put them. Because as I say, I've started to put that in. That's something I'll go through with you. That's another one I've done. I did that, I think I've done that totally off camera. You see there is some blue in them all, but I'm just looking where I fancy putting. Just wondering if I've got a very pinky page there. What have I got here? Oh yeah, I've got 2 or 3 coffee dye papers together. So I'm going to put that in there, and I'm going to try and find that in them all so they all go roughly about the same place. So this is the blue one. So it was where the coffee dyed. Oh, it was just after the tracing paper. Somewhere here, wasn't it? Yeah, it was in there where this was all. it's good when you've got a bit of something that you know, in all three signatures, that you've sort of got them in some kind of an order, because then when you come to doing this, it gives you a bit of an idea of where to put them. So that can go in the middle, and then this is the third signature, so this should be, and of course because it's crinkly paper I can find it quite easily. I love the way this has turned out with all the staining on it. Right, so let's have a look here. It should be here somewhere. In there. Oh, I've got that one stuck on. I've got the flip stuck on something. Yeah, so that's those three in now. I've got 2 more pages that I'm going to do, which I'll do with you before I sew in my signatures, and then I can work on all the other bits. It's going to be quite a chunky one, this. I'm just checking that I am going to get 3 in there quite easily. Yes, I think I am. I think I am. As I say, we've got to do some work on the front cover as well, because we've only got the base down. We've only got the canvas with a bit of mixed media on at the minute, but it needs some more pink and some more blue in it, and it needs, well, it needs a lot of lace and a lot of bits doing, so that'll be in a further video. So I'm going to say bye for now, and thank you for watching, and if you could subscribe, I would really appreciate that, and you'll see then more of what's coming up next. I've got quite a few interesting bits coming up, and I'd like you to come along with me. So I'll see you soon. Keep safe. Bye for now.